Hey guys, welcome to Demon Slayer Gaming. It is me, Demon Wolf, and today we're going to talk about U50. It's the first time I've actually come into the game and actually want to try it. I've got some builds set up, ready to go with it. I have some issues with some of what's going on. One of them is Vengeance, which has become a bone of contention on the forums as well as in the game. Uh, so let me first say I believe that Vengeance has a lot of potential. I'm not a fan of the way it is right now, but I think it has potential. So, and on the forums, I made some comments that I'm sure won't be popular with a lot of people, but I stand by those. And one of those comments was if you are a hater of Vengeance, you are probably a meta player who needs a set to crutch you because you're lacking a certain skill when it comes to PvP. I will stand behind that. And if you go onto the forums, you will find that not many people have argued that with me. The truth of the matter is, real PvP should come down to the skill, right? And it's okay to not like Vengeance. That is perfectly fine. It's okay to not like Greyhost. That is perfectly fine. For Greyhost players to hate on Vengeance players because Vengeance is the thing is a ridiculous statement. That falls solely on Zos. Zos took away every other option. You have two options. You have Greyhost and you have Vengeance. And I can prove that to you. And all I have to do is bring up the campaigns. And here they are. You have Alliance Locked, Greyhost, and you have Vengeance. Those are your only two options to do Cyrodiil. Right? So, and then we talked about you have two bars here, you have three bars here, you have one bar here, right? And everybody's like, oh well, Greyhost has more players. Okay, great. Maybe they do have more players. That might actually be a thing right now. We haven't even gone a full 48 hours yet on Vengeance. Come the weekend, we'll have some better numbers to judge this by. But we haven't gone a full 24 hours yet. Or 48 hours, sorry. Not 24, 48 hours. So I want to point this out. If you look, okay, in Greyhost locked, we're talking each bar that you see here, that's approximately 33-ish players. There's a 100 player cap, 300 players per alliance, or sorry, 100 players per alliance in Greyhost. Okay? Vengeance is designed for 900 players, meaning 300 per alliance. Now, granted, one bar does not mean you have 100 players in there. That is very fair, and I won't argue that. However, like I said, we haven't even made it to the weekend yet. And we've been like I said in a post on the forums that we were launching this flat because a lot of the stuff that we wanted didn't get put in. And that's exactly what happened. But that doesn't mean that this can't be salvaged. And it doesn't mean that more people aren't going to want to play this than they want to play Greyhost. And the reason I say this, if you go on the forums and you look at the arguments that are out there, most of those players don't want to fight you if they can't wear their meta bomb blow you up sets. They just don't. Because they won't be as good. They won't clip you. They won't be able to. That's just a fact. And the funny part to me is that we're still having these conversations. Where the problem becomes is Zos should have never taken away Blackreach or Ravenwatch. They should still be live so that there are options for the I want to bomb people and be meta, which would be Greyhost, and I want to learn how to PvP or I have skill, which would be Vengeance. And then you have the in-betweens. And everybody's arguing, well, guilds can go to Imperial City. Well, listen, Imperial City is not Cyrodiil. And that makes a huge difference. There are guilds that literally formed to run Cyrodiil. They have built entire guilds around Joe, Bob, and Larry, and maybe Sally are tanks. Harry, Vanessa, Jill, and Gary are healers, and everybody else is doing DPS. These are entire guilds that have done that. Okay? And they've got this set so that when they go, that's how they play. You're not giving that option to them. And by not doing that, that's a problem. Okay? On top of that, if you want to test out the new werewolf rebuilds or revamps, or once they launch the other class reworks, you can't do it here. And that's a problem. Now, I love Vengeance for the fact that I can create a new character and I can bring him up in PvP in Cyrodiil. That is fantastic. However, we have the other issue, and we'll get into that right now, which would be your veterancy rewards. Okay, so let's have a look at your veterancy, right? You get three options right at the door. Come on, man. You've already limited us to what we can do with our classes. I can prove this to you. I will just go in there and show you, because the truth of the matter is this is ridiculous. Let's go to Vengeance, and we're gonna log in there. This is a ridiculous thing for me that you haven't given me an option of choosing my own morphs for my abilities. Now I understand the issues. I'm gonna choose no, but I'm bringing this up so I can show you. Okay, so there is no morph for this. There's no morph for any of these. I can't morph these. This is what Zoss has decided for me. This is not ESO. ESO is play the way you want. Now, you have the soldier, right? So if we go back into here, I can go here and I can go to loadouts. I have 4 choices: soldier, vanguard, battle medic, and scout. The truth of the matter is you're going to run either vanguard or you're going to run battle medic unless you're actually relatively skilled and you can use soldier or scout to a stronger advantage, right? But vanguard gives you a shield, battle medic gives you a shield, and a shield for yourself. So these things they should have been fixed before they went live, because you're ball grouping with these now. Okay, so let's go back to the perks. So here's perks. I can't access any of these perks until I start doing this. Now, if I do BGs and IC, I can slowly unlock these, right? Which is great. But here's the thing. Okay? Like, let me see if I can find the one that there's some on here that I don't understand. I think it's in the reds. Here we go. So here you go. Increase your physical resistance by 2974, but you decrease your spell resistance by 2974. This isn't even worth working towards. You wouldn't slot this. It just wouldn't happen. It doesn't make sense. It's a ridiculous trade-off. Okay? And then you got the flip side of it. Ridiculous trade-off. Okay? I think the one this is the one that I don't understand. I mean, you know, a true PvPer isn't going to use a lot of this, right? This one here, perfect. Increase your armor. Period. That's it. Done. Right? But if you have to, here you go. Reduce damage from siege. You might run that, right? You're not going to swap one for another. It just doesn't make sense. And it is a ridiculous system that needs to be reworked. And you can find these all the way through all of these perks, right? So we're going to get real on PvP. Okay. Every time you come in here, right? And this is the other thing. So actually, let's do it. Let me do it this way. What's a better way to do this here? Here we go. Okay, so in my current form, we go to loadouts. I'm in soldier, right? Okay, I have 72,000 health, 30,000, 30,000, 2,200, 1,500. Which this makes no sense. If you're gonna give me 2,200 magic recovery, give me 2,200 stamina recovery. This for me is problematic. I only have 5,000 weapon and spell, and I have zero penetration. This to me makes no sense. Right now, granted, I don't have points in anything, yada yada yada, but that does none of that makes any difference because you can't put that stuff in this, right? You don't get a Mundus Stone, which should have been in here, right? These are all things, and I hear the argument all the time. Hey, listen, it's still a work in progress. No, it's not a work in progress. This should not have come out in the state that it's in. That's a fact. Most of us would agree with that. However, here we are, so now we'll deal with it. Okay? But you're limiting us so much on our builds that we can't make something work. Right? Now, yes, your whatever you choose gives you different ideas of things you can do, right? So probably the biggest one for soldier is battle trauma. This can be stacked on multiple players and it lasts for 4 seconds. As fast as I can click this over 4 seconds, I can just keep infecting people with it. And it absorbs their heals, which means my group can just run around smashing people. Now, if I were to change this to say, okay, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna go to battle medic because this is probably the most problematic one for me. So battle medic, and let's go have a look at their abilities. Here's battle medic. So let's look at expeditious ward. I can grant myself or an ally a 22,000 that shield, right? Now let's look at battle shield. Up to 3 of my allies can have a 13,000 shield. So I cast this one first, and then I cast the other one, and guess who gets the shield? It's me. Now all 4 of us have a shield. This is a problem. You are ball grouping people here. This is one of the things that we argued that should come out of the game. It's not out, it's here, so now we have to find a way to deal with it. Okay, fine, fair enough. Now let's switch again, and let's go have a look at Vanguard. Because, oh yes, guess what? Vanguard has a shield also. So now you got a battle medic running with a Vanguard, and he decides, hey, you know what? Warding interception's going to go. That's a 20, almost, well, it's a 19.2 shield. Come on, guys. Like, this is all ball group. You add those 3 shields to the heal negate, and guess what? You're wiping everybody out in a ball group. You just are. It's happening. The one thing that they kind of missed out on here, and might have been a good idea, is if you were to go back into loadouts and go to say scout. Scout is probably the weakest and maybe the most balanced for this campaign. But this one ability could have been done a little bit different, which is burst of speed. This should, as a scout, I should be able to apply this to my entire team or to a number of my team. Meaning, when I cast this, my team actually has speed. This would have given some agency and counterplay to the build. Right? You probably could have done something very similar to that with soldier as well, but you did. So instead, what we get is we get what is it? Yeah, We get this, which is 6,105 stamina. Well, we already have crap stamina recovery. Why in the hell would you put this on your bar? It makes no sense. This is where Zoss, for some reason, seems to fail, and we've talked about it. We were speaking about it before the launch. They did the week 4 PTS and absolutely changed nothing. So why they stuck with the week 4, other than to appease the criers, makes no sense. If you're not going to change anything, then just don't do it. Right? You're launching stuff that we've already told you isn't going to work. Then you cry that it didn't work, but you were told it wasn't going to work. And then we have people arguing amongst themselves about why it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because Zoss didn't listen. And that's okay. Listen, hey, it's okay. I admit I think they're getting better at it, but they're not there yet. And they need to work harder to get even better at it. When we tell you this isn't going to work, this is not what we want, you need to start realizing we're not the guys saying to you, this isn't what we want, and you know better. We're telling you this is not what we want. You don't know better. So listen to us. We will tell you the kind of game that we want. And I'm not saying that everything that we're going to tell you is going to be right, but what we are going to tell you is where the player base wants to be. Stop listening to the criers that are like, oh, if I can't wear my meta stuff, I don't want to play. Okay, well, listen, give them a place to play. But they do not represent 90% of your player base. And that's a fact. As much as they would like to tell you they do not. I think that's pretty much proven over the last 3 years. So let's get back on track and let's get this going properly. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.